Welcome to I'm From the Internet, a podcast about the internet, its users, and their consequences. I am deceased comedian Winslow Dumaine, sitting here with internet historian Jay Brandstetter. Jay, how have you been, man?
I don't think it's fair that I left Florida and then the heat just followed me up here. Like, I explicitly wanted to get away from it.
Yeah, the heat's been pretty significant. I've been too distracted by all the other suffering to really dwell in it, but I definitely have thrown my ass on the bike in the middle of a midday swelter, and boy howdy you feel it, because it's pretty hot in Chicago. It cooled down a bit, but it was pretty hot in Chicago for a bit. You know, that and lots of rain and weather and all the other old people topics that we can talk about. Yeah, things are still a nightmare over here, but, nightmares are always changing. I did start taking an antidepressant for the first time in a decade, and the pharmacist was like, just so you know, this can make your nightmares worse. And I was like, don't worry, honey, they already came true. I should not have been so cocky because, oh boy, do they make the nightmares worse? My God, it's been a lot, dude.
Yeah, I normally don't even have dreams, or at least don't remember them. And I remember having some pretty vivid dreams when I first started SSRIs. I'm kind of the same boat because I finally, at the beginning of August, I have my first doctor's appointment in this decade. So I'm pretty excited to finally get some actual professional help getting started on here. I've just been doing remote docs to get my SSRIs sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know. I we'll see what happens. Maybe in a couple years I can tell people about what all of this has been. But right now it's just kind of aimless, extreme suffering that I can't talk about publicly. But I have been doing my best to channel the work into interesting ways. Talk about that a little bit on my Discord, because I'm still working on the new game, so it's got a lot more juxtaposition of micro and macro levels of I don't know, paranoia and loss and trauma and things like that. So if anybody wants to see anything about the new game that I'm making, or find out about any of the other projects that I've got going on, of course, I have my Discord there. And before we get too deep into the episode, just a reminder that we do have the Patreon. It is $1. If you can't afford to pay $1, I mean, if you just don't like us, that's one thing, but it's $1. All of that money goes to Jay and Steve. They would appreciate it, I'm sure. And if you want to support me, there's, of course, winslowdomain.com. I have all of my stuff there. Lots of new things as well. Yeah. And I'm wrapping up the year. Go ahead.
And also, I know I mentioned it before, but in addition to our regular episodes, we do have my modem side chats I've been doing. So you're getting several more hours of content every month. And it's not just me rambling. Some of them are kind of on topic ones. I did one that people liked, right? I explained how I sort of visualize online communities as ecosystems and how different parts of it are analogous to different parts. And it had some good discussions. Somebody made a really good point about furries being an indicator species in that metaphor. And I was like, hell yeah, that's great. I love that. I'm going to steal that.
Yeah. Something Awful had a thing about dissecting different forum users that were varying degrees of prominence throughout, across the internet, where I remember one of them being the guy that has 5 or 6 times as many posts as everyone else on the board. And the types of things that kind of account posts are just haha and thanks and no problem and just little things like that. But then you look and they have because there's a guy on the Manson forums called King, and he had 40,000 fucking posts. And I mean, it's not like he was a shit poster, but a lot of them were just kind of nothing.
White noise, yeah.
Yeah, white noise. But then you have the actual account administrators and people who are really plugged in with how everything of the website worked, and I don't know. I think Nick Kushner only had a couple thousand posts, maybe. But because he was focused more on like the back end stuff. So, but yeah, every forum has its different types of people. And you can probably see things across the board where like they just kind of appear in different places. You have like the subcultures that pop up everywhere, because there's, we talked about it in the previous episode how like there's a contingent of every sub forum or subgroup or fandom that is like, hi, we're the bizarre anime version of everything that you guys like. Like Stalker has like a subset of their fans that are all really into anime. And the game that I'll mention later for the plug, called Look Outside, I was looking through some of their posts on the subreddit, and yeah, it's like a lot of people playing the game, but then there's also a good strong contingent of people who are like, hi, I like this game so much that I drew it as an anime, so
Yeah.
It's like the similar things across the board.
Yeah, a really awkward version of that for me was when I was a part of the McElroy brothers fan community. Like, people would always draw fan art of them, but they would always make them look like much cuter and thinner than they are in real life. Like, they don't look like pretty anime boys. I was like, man, if somebody drew fan art of me that didn't look like me, that would hurt my feelings.
Yeah, I've had some fan art of me. I want to say that most of it was either made to insult me, or that it was, I guess that's not fan art. I guess that's just what's the word? Not a caricature. What's the word for like a mean caricature? Effigy, I guess. Yeah, that's been a thing recently where like I'm not trying to date around at all right now. Like I got a lot of trauma to recover from. But I've had multiple people go out of their way to be like, just so you know, I don't find you attractive. And I wasn't even asking. I wasn't even fucking talking about it. And so it's one of those things where it's like I'm already operating at like 0.001% like emotional strength. And, like I'm like glass bones man over here, completely dead and shattered. And then like there's some people that are just like, they'll just drop a hydrogen bomb on you and you have to be like, okay, thanks. Jesus Christ, dude. Like, I didn't need to know that you didn't think I'm attractive. I didn't ask. I wasn't trying to find out if you think I'm attractive. Oh boy. It's been tough. But yeah, 2 more shows left. In the year, I'm doing Omaha starting. I mean, by the time this is out, by the time this is out, probably everything will be done. But I've got Omaha coming up, and then I'm doing Richmond, and then there's nothing left of me at all. Then I just disappear. So
you build your cocoon.
Yeah. Then I go into an Uthaka where I can get my head eaten off by an eligible bachelorette.
Yeah, that's why you keep all those cardboard boxes there. At the winter, you just chew them up and spin them up into like a wood pulp nest, like a wasp.
Yeah. I'm like a starling just spitting on a bridge. Yeah. Doing things, whatever. What do you got for me, buddy?
Yeah, well, I guess speaking of being chewed up and spat out, today's episode is about a real saga that I've titled footsmoker.com, because it does sort of hinge around a website called footsmoker.com. And I really like saying footsmoker.com. So just one more time, footsmoker.com.
Footsmoker.com. I imagine that wasn't hard to get the URL for that. Like, they got the .com, they didn't have to deal with the .net. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the footsmoker.ru is a much darker website.
Yeah. That's what one of my friends said when I told them my new game is at www.theunitedstatesdepartmentofgangstalking.com, which is like such a long URL just in general. But the fact that I locked it down just for this is pretty funny.
Yeah, it's kind of like passwords. Sometimes it's better to have a long, memorable one than like a short one that's really compact and complicated.
Yeah, correct horse battery stapler or whatever the XKCD comic is. Yeah, all my passwords are like full sentences now because I just whatever. But there are also a lot of Groucho Marx jokes in there too. Yeah. So you asked me to guess what I thought this episode was, and unfortunately I did get it, because I am somewhat familiar with this story. But it's been so long, and I guess I don't know about the website aspect of it. So all I know is that it involves exactly what it says: a human foot in a smoker.
Yeah, when I first heard the name from Foot Smoker, I thought it was like a site where like people use their feet to hold cigarettes when they smoke. Like it's like a really weird niche fetish site or something. Like, you've heard of cake farts? Here comes Foot Smokers.
Yeah, well, imagine getting like the nicotine yellowing between your big toe and your long toe. Yeah.
Yeah, it burns down to the filter, but you have a callus, so you don't feel it.
Yeah. But no, it burns down to the filter, and then you use that to separate your toes so you can paint your nails. Yeah. Big ass cigar. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, or just like one of those really long, skinny cigarette holders, so that you could smoke your foot smoke while sitting down, or you get a foot peel. And then you take that peeling, and then that's what you roll your joint with.
Okay, or what if it's like a medical treatment where they have like a box that you like put your feet in, and they seal it, and they like pump some kind of smoke in there, and it's like revitalizes your skin, or it makes all the dead skin peel off. That's how you get it off.
Makes the dead skin peel off, or that's how you kill a foot fungus.
Footfumigator.com. Hell yeah.
Yeah, foot fumigator. Yeah.
Got those weird, colorful tents really small, so they go around your feet.
Yeah, but they still look like circus tents. Yeah.
Yeah, my dad, he worked in pest control, so when I was growing up, we'd go to like a pest control convention every summer, and I got to like the people who make those tents would have booths there, and it was really cool. Like one of the things was they had a drill, and they drilled a hole in the sample, and they let people try and tear the tents to show how tough it was. Like, imagine being the guy whose job is to sell the circus tents for a living. That sounds pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, there's a convention coming up in Detroit that I really want to go to, because it's the Foam Expo. And there's a packaging expo coming up and a foam expo coming up.
You're going on a foam adventure?
I know, man. I really want to know what, because like foam is just like a state of matter, and so like that could be like a mousse is a foam, like a nice like a froth on top of your frappuccino is a foam, but also like sealant is a foam. So what do y'all get together and talk about? Foam?
Yeah.
Just foam.
If it involves gases suspended in solids, we are there.
Yeah, the guys there, they have shirts that say like ET foam home.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing? The merch booth at the Foam Expo.
Yeah, like there's like a parody of Sir Mix-a-Lot's 36, 24, 36, except it's like foam density measurements.
Yeah, dude. I want to know, like, there's got to be some, like, I bet that's one of the cons that, like, the after party's fucking crazy.
Yeah, just like filling their hotel room with foam.
Yeah. Or, like, do you think that they get really mad about Jell-O? Or like other like outre states of being, like they hate plasma.
Yeah. Or I imagine like at anime conventions, they would have a thing where like later on people would do like shows where they would like host videos and do commentary. And I imagine like that at the foam convention where they're like showing the scene from Willy Wonka with the foam and are like critiquing how unrealistic it is.
Yeah, my buddy's mom was a chiropractor. And I mentioned that my only prior knowledge of chiropractic care was from the movie Jacob's Ladder, where the guy goes to a chiropractor and like the snapping of his back unlocks these memories of Vietnam. And it's like this very beautiful scene. And she said, we actually show some parts of that movie at chiropractic conventions because it's like such a loving portrayal of like, I know that chiropractic care is like hogwash and all that. Do you think hogs use that phrase? Do you think they're like, hogs are talking about something that's great and they're like, it's great, it's hogwash?
Or maybe their version of hogwash is like bath water. Like, it's like something humans would bathe in. No meat on those bones there. That's just water.
Yeah, two hogs talking to each other about something they love.
Yeah, hogs calling something slop, but it's positive.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I just wonder, like, what are representations of foam in media that people like? They're like, this is a great scene. If you like foam, this is what we're in for. But then again, there's probably fetish people that are like really into foam. So
yeah, like a really anxious pre-internet teenager, just like waiting for the foam mattress commercial to come on so we can jerk off really quickly.
we love to hear it. Anyways.
Yeah, so
Foot Smoker.
Yeah, and so before we get into footsmoker.com proper, first off, I want to give a shout out. Glowing Plum from both my and your Discord told me about this one, so I want to thank them for that tip. You know, I'm always welcome to hear those. And also, before we talk about the story proper, I have a little intro and side story I want to do, and you'll kind of see why when I do it. I've titled it "All Great Teachers Steal," and it's a sort of meta look at the creation of this episode, but indirectly because it hinges on a different piece of internet history. I know you've seen this before.
I've never seen the GIF of it.
Yeah, it's actually animated.
Yeah, so what he's showing me is the famous image of the guy with knocking down the dominoes of increasing sizes to demonstrate that a domino can knock down another domino that is 50% bigger than itself. And it just shows how like this teeny tiny little piece could eventually knock down something that is like 100 times its own size.
Yeah. Also a great demonstration of potential energy. Because, yeah, if you give the biggest one the same tap, it won't move. But that tiny tap can unlock the cascading potential energy. It's really cool. It's a great demo.
Yeah. That's why whenever I get in a fight, I just line up a series of smaller and smaller dudes, and I just fight the smallest one, and then he falls over. It's like the motorcycles in Pee-wee's Big Playhouse or whatever. Or the Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I don't know. I never even saw that movie, but I'm familiar with the motorcycles because I go to a motorcycle convention, and that's the scene that we watch. Yeah.
A walkable cities person that hates Pee-wee because he's an unsafe cyclist.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, with his fancy ass bicycle. Paul Rubens, R.I.P.
Yeah.
Yes. So you got really into dominoes.
Yeah, and this domino. Also, it's on YouTube. It was uploaded 16 years ago, and it has 15 million views. Domino chain reaction, short version, geometric growth in action, and it's by a physics professor emeritus named Stephen Morris. And if you've listened to the show, you've seen permutations of this meme. Maybe a super relevant one is that low tax bans hentai Western civilization one, which isn't true, but it's good clickbait, so I see why people use it. But it's interesting though, because if you look at his channel, everything else on his channel looks like this. It's all very dry technical videos with only like hundreds or dozens of views. Stuff like creating a soliton wave in a tank, or the way that icicles will form, like a crystallography thing. Like this is very crunchy, hardcore physics stuff.
Yeah, it's all pretty dull. It's not. I mean, dominoes are just so much more interesting to a small child anyway.
Yeah.
So,
and I thought that was interesting. So I did some digging, and since he doesn't normally do this, and it wasn't just random insight that he was struck with one day and he decided to do this. The domino demonstration is a prepared lesson plan from the February 1983 edition of the American Journal of Physics. It was made by someone named Lauren A. Whitehead. And yeah, as somebody who got their teaching education in the online age, it's cool to see like the physical print version of how they used to distribute these kind of lessons online. Like, I feel like now they would have a thing for you to buy the dominoes, but actually give you instructions on how to machine them at your university and stuff. It's very interesting.
Yeah, it seems like something that they could just like crank out and make a bunch of them and just sell it. But I guess that's already what because I've broken into a bunch of abandoned schools, and you can actually see some of the leftover demonstration kits that they have of different science-y things. Yeah, that's my point of reference for schools, is not the fact that I went to a school for many, many years, but specifically the abandoned ones that I have broken into, because I'm so interesting. But it's just like he's just showing me a chart of like how big the dominoes have to be in order for the effect to work.
Yeah, it goes up in like inches increments, so all the metric measurements are very spotty, like 0.1, 0.19 or something. But yeah, right. So let me tell you this: I'm not blowing up Stephen Morris or accusing him of plagiarism. Right in the video description, he says where he got it from, and I was able to pull it up off of that. And I like that because it's a good illustration of what I called this great teacher steal, because that was a phrase that was drilled into my head when I was attending college. And this is a great example of it. Stephen Morris, giant air quotes when I say this here, stole the domino chain reaction, but his interpretation and presentation of it is the one that caught on with the general public, because teachers don't normally make their own lesson plans. Usually they sort of personalize pre-existing ones.
How could you?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same thing where it's just like copywriting a recipe for soup. It's like, motherfucker, it's soup. Like you're not like I get that, like, if you have some really specific thing that you're working on, like a very specific like a recipe that is like coded to your family, and to like you invented this type of cooking, maybe that could be like identified with you. But of course teachers don't write all their lesson plans, because there's only so many ways that you can explain to people that the sun is hot.
Yeah,
you know?
And there's only so much time in the day, and especially when you're a new teacher, like your first couple years, they say you are in survival mode. Like, you basically, as much as you can do to like offload, because you are doing so much work, as much as you can to negate that, you take advantage of. So they're like, rely on the pre-made lesson plans. Usually also, like, teachers will trade these, they'll share with them. They're very good about exchanging it. And just, yeah, like one I have here for an example that I'm familiar with is the teaching genetics with SpongeBob characters, because it's a very basic exercise where it teaches you how to do Punnett squares, except instead of with actual creatures, it's between SpongeBob SquarePants and Sponge Susie Roundpants. Like, is square, you know, which the different traits are dominant, like being square or round, and how they play out. So like one teacher might take that, another one might be like, okay, we'll do that, but then I'll have the kids sculpt, instead of writing it down, or have them sculpt them out of clay or something, like what they think Sponge Susie's offspring would look like, to show what traits got passed on, things like that. Because oftentimes these come with the textbooks themselves, even, because like the people who make the books are like, okay, here's how you can present it. One of the things too is, like, when you're a student, it's really frustrating, because if you don't show your work, you get in trouble, because the point is to demonstrate that you understand the info. Well, teachers, they have a degree and certification. They've demonstrated they know the info. Their job is to teach it to you.
Right. Yeah. All the things to make it more three-dimensional.
Yeah. Also, just as an aside, this isn't canon. The guy who created SpongeBob, Steven Hillenburg, actually was a marine biology teacher. So he has a good joke about SpongeBob reproducing by budding in one of the episodes, which is how they do, for real. So.
Oh, so it's not part of the canon that SpongeBob fucks?
Yeah, SpongeBob is an asexual icon, but not the biological definition.
Yes, yeah. He's a fucking pervert, but in a completely different way. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah. Cool. And yeah, just outside of education too, this is pretty much anything that involves exchanging information and spreading it involves the same practice of theft. Like a fun one is church signs. I know that like funny viral church signs are a popular thing on the Christian internet, and there are literally websites like sayingforchurchsigns.com, or the sites that sell these signs will give people all these cutesy, funny little phrases they can put on there that are sort of church focused. Like the Lord said to John, "Come forth and receive eternal life. John came fifth and won a toaster. Jesus loves you more than the Easter Bunny. Even dying churches donate their organs." You know, this is very Adventures in Odyssey focused on the family humor.
My favorite one is, the Lord said to John, "Come forth and receive eternal life." But John came fifth and had to eat the biscuit. Yeah. Yeah. I did drive one recently where it said, "Blood of Christ inebriate me," which, like, that's a weird thing to say. Church pastors have to like have a fresh 30 minutes of shit to talk about every week, and that's just fucking crazy. And so what a lot of them end up doing is just what a lot of like really, really tired comedians do, which is just take a word or phrase and examine the history of it, and then just yap at you about it for 30 minutes. And so I'm sure that there's like some interpretation of the word inebriate that can be made religiously, but it definitely reads like somebody who's just getting drunk off of the blood of their God, which, like, if you're not from a Christian background, if you just look at this through like a normal secular lens, Christians, I need you to understand that is a fucking insane thing to say. Like, it's just crazy. I know I've mentioned it before on the pod, but I keep thinking back to the line from Valhalla Rising, where it's just these two Vikings on the side of this like foggy hill. It's like the year 1300 or whatever. And one of the guys turns to the other and just goes, "These Christians, they eat their God, those savages. And it's so true. Like,
one I always like was like a Muslim scholar during the Crusades talking about how white people don't trim their pubes and how gross it is. Like, that was what I thought was funny. Yeah. Like, these people are so unsanitary. They're just,
yeah, and the God, what is it? The Vikings were, or was it the Vikings or somebody? It was like some pagan group that like they bathed themselves too well for the Christian men, and so all of the women wanted to be with them because they smelled good and were clean, and so like they had to. There's like it just turned into a whole religious conflict because Christian guys weren't washing their ass. Yeah, it's baffling. We don't need my fucking 35-year-old atheist bullshit clogging up the pod.
Yeah.
But
look, Jesus liked washing people's feet. You can wash yourself. It's what Jesus would want, okay?
Yeah, Jesus was a foot guy.
Yeah, but just to sort of wrap papers, yeah, that's kind of what the original definition of meme was. Bits of information that are passed along and mutate like our genes do. And it's part of why I'm admittedly a little insecure about this episode, because we're about a year into this new focus of the show. And during the Something Awful years, almost all the episodes were entirely original research. These were stories that had never been documented or shared outside the forums before. And the new show for the past year has been doing more of this teacherly kind of stealing information from write-ups, articles, videos, documentaries, and synthesizing it into a new thing here. But this is the first time that the main primary resource for an episode has been a commercially released and produced documentary. And I'm admittedly a little insecure about that. So I wanted to kind of try and explain, like, I did research, I dug up new stuff, I've added to it, and I think I have a fun angle on this. But I just wanted to sort of explain, like, I know there's a time in my life where if I heard that, like, I could totally see somebody like, oh, you just watched a documentary. No, I put in some work here. I think you're going to enjoy this one.
Yeah. And also, if you don't like the pod, fucking don't listen to it. If you don't like the amount of stuff that we're doing here, you have to understand that we're both living our lives. We're not Last Podcast on the Left that can hire people to do research or nothing. Like, we're just a couple grieving dudes. We've got shit going on. All of that to say, you're fine, buddy. Who cares?
Yeah, thank you. And I know our audience is cool about it too, but also nice excuse for me to talk about the background of that domino meme, because it's not enough for a whole episode, but I think that's kind of interesting. And also, yeah, just seeing it in motion is very surreal.
Yeah. It's also true the other direction, you know. You can just knock down the big one and it smashes all the other ones in between. It's true. That's what happens when you go to prison and you take down the biggest guy, and then it just like it plays the sound of like getting a strike in bowling. Yeah, that it all works.
No, that's great. Yeah, and always, as always, of course, the link to the document is in the show notes, so you can check my sources and information, everything. It's all there. But yeah,
nice,
cool. Anyways, back to the main feature, footsmoker.com.
Now, listener, I want you, if you haven't already heard this story, or if you already know about the documentary, I want you to take a moment and try to think, what do you think this involves? Like, you could put together from what I've said already that it involves a foot and a smoker. How do you think it gets there? Whose foot is it? Whose smoker is it? Write down your answers, and we'll go over them at the end of the show. Or not. I don't know. Whichever. It's fine.
So this would start in 2004, and one thing that really stands out is that this is right on the edge of social media appearing, which is what part makes this neat to be, because like we're very familiar now with how like greedy assholes and fame hounds proliferate on social media. This is kind of a fun look at how people did that before that, when TV was the main way that you would spread, and the internet was just kind of a supplementary part of that.
Yeah, it recalls to mind the first and second wave of the story of the bonsai kitties, which a friend of the pod, Panic World, just recently covered. Which, if you don't know, bonsai kitties was a hoax perpetrated by a guy at MIT that posited that there's this bizarre practice in China, I want to say, where they give kittens muscle relaxants and then stuff them in jars so that you can have like a cute little kitty that's always the size of a kitty. And it's completely fake. It's not true at all. It's like it doesn't even look real when you look at the early photoshopped pictures that went alongside it.
It's like it was made in Kai's Power Goo. It's very obviously, it's like a cat that's been squished into a bottle shape. It's very funny that people got mad at it.
Yeah, and so there was like a really huge resurgence, or there was it's like a huge response to it, and like, you know, animal rights groups got involved, and it was just kind of this thing of there were always people doing this kind of thing, where like a joke like this would, before like a pre-internet thing, would just go into like a zine, or would just be like a joke among friends. And maybe they would do like a primitive photo editing of it. Probably, you know, that'd be kind of concurrent with the internet, right? But there would still be ways of doing it. Like Lewis Black wrote in one of his books about like he ran some sort of comedy, or he was involved in some sort of comedy publication when he was in college that published some pretty extreme and heinous stuff as jokes. And now we would look at that and be like, this is like shock value disinformation or whatever. But back then it was just jokes. And so this Footsmoker comes along right around the time that people are starting to learn just how depraved the human race is, and they're doing that through the internet.
Very much, yeah. And this is also intrinsically a product of the internet, because the documentary itself was Kickstarted. They ran out of funding when they were working on it, because it ran for like 7 or 8 years. And so they went to Kickstarter, and the internet helped fund this. This is also like a cool example of like TV is taking this story and being very exploitative and just presenting it as like, look at these wacky like rednecks. And then now on the internet, like these documentarians find it, they think it's cool. And then regular ass people are like, yeah, I think this is cool. I want to see it. And now we have this awesome record of this bizarre event that happened.
Yeah. The documentary is called Finders Keepers, which is a pretty apropos name, given what it's about. But we'll get into that. Don't worry. We're not going to keep you dangling this whole time.
Yeah, great name. And we're successfully made an $81,000 on an $80,000 goal. Very smart. And the people who made it, it was the product of, let's see, Ed Cunningham, Adam Gibbs, Adam Hobbs, and Tim Grant. And Ed Cunningham is probably the most recognizable name on here because he's the producer of King of Kong. So he's somebody who's already made some pretty well-renowned documentaries. That also leads to a fun connection where Billy Mitchell was part of the Kickstarter. He donated some of his hot sauces and some of his King of Kong posters as stretch goals for the Kickstarter. So this is just one of those weird times when Billy Mitchell showed up and did something that kind of didn't suck for once and then vanished. Like he does that every now and then. Yeah,
I've heard, like every once in a while, Billy Mitchell, like his lawsuit against people that are like defaming him. It's like, man, Billy Mitchell sucks, but he's the right one in this lawsuit. Like, he is the victim of some pretty wild defamation.
Yeah, like him suing Regular Show, that's silly, that's dumb, he lost. But him suing all these internet people, it's like, yeah, get him, buddy. I'm glad I'm not...
Yeah, fuck him.
In the fight between Billy Mitchell and the internet, I'm rooting for the fight. Thankfully, after all that build-up, here we are, footsmoker.com, the original classic landing page. Just...
Man, this guy looks like... God, what's his name? He looks like the vocalist from the Dawn of the Deli Creeps. Maximum Bob. He looks like Maximum Bob. And yeah, there he is, Maximum. Oh boy, yeah. I really hope that Maximum Bob isn't racist. There's definitely some things that lead me to believe that he is. He's an incredible vocalist.
Oh my gosh, yeah, wow,
that's Maximum Bob.
I know this is kind of a type. This is a type of guy, but yeah, well, he looks a lot like.
Yeah, we're talking about a big burly guy with thick wrists and a thick neck, and he's got a very bushy goatee. And I mean, I was like kind of joking when I started saying that he looks like Maximum Bob. This dude looks like Maximum Bob. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, this is the type of big, heavy-set white Southerner where it's like weird to see them without mirrored sunglasses on the back of their head.
Yes, yeah, exactly that. Yeah, he's so the background of it's the background of the website is just a photograph of like a campfire. It's just the fire, and it says up at the top, "Welcome to footsmoker.com." And then the first image, dead center, is the big thick guy leaning over and pointing at this meat smoker that he has. And it's just, that's it. It's just a picture of him pointing kind of vacantly at his smoker.
Sadly, I tried to pull up, that's a screenshot from the documentary. I tried to pull up an archive of it, but the Internet Archive only backed up a 2008 version of it that didn't have any of the extended stuff. But yeah, like, if, this is like a couple years later, he's updated his design a little, and now he has whole sections like pig picking, the foot, Shannon's personal opinions, Canadian camera crew. Like, he seems to be trying to become like a little online personality at this point.
Yeah, like we've really streamlined the process of becoming an online personality, where like, we've mentioned it a million times in the past, but like the gal that makes the rotating sandwiches website, like that was her whole thing. And I'm sure she does other stuff. She's a vibrant human being with passions and beliefs and dreams and all that. But she was the rotating sandwiches girl. And we've made it really easy to have like, this is me, this is who I am. And you can kind of consolidate it. But back in the day, you really had to put in some work. Back in the day, it was really weird for a person to have a website unless you were already pretty fucking significant, I would say.
Yeah, or most people work that directly involved. Like if you were a professor or a web designer, had an online store, if you had just a person, and the website not being just your name. I remember that was kind of a fad for all us. Ooh, buy your name so that way you have it, which I guess people still do, but
Yeah, winsubmain.com. But yes, we're looking at an old version of the website, which is it's like a boring GeoCities website that's probably terrible on mobile.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Know that for sure.
So yeah, so we're at 2004 in North Carolina, and the man on footsmoker.com is named Shannon Wisnant, and I have this screenshot of him here from his local news appearance.
Let's take a minute. Man's name is Shannon. Fine, I know it is technically a unisex name. So is Madison. But Shannon is. I don't know that I've ever met a man named Shannon. And Wisnant is his last name. I don't know. It's just really. It's like meeting a man, a big burly man named like Mallory Fizzpop. Like
I'm Ashley whatchamacallit.
Yeah, I'm Marjorie Zipbang. I don't know. Shannon Wisnant. It says News Tonight 2. Shannon Wisnant, and then underneath that, purchased foot. Which is kind of reminiscent, I guess, of Winslow Domain. Rat hole guy.
Yeah, I was gonna say that there were some all-timer news chyrons on this, like right up with Rat Guy. It's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because a lot of this does just play out over local news. So yeah, Shannon Wisnant is just kind of like a local. He calls himself an entrepreneur. He's just kind of like a local hustle and grind guy, I guess we call it now. He's always trying to sell stuff, buy up things. Like one of the examples is on his website. Before this, he was selling ass gaskets, which are like those like mobile seat pads that you bring to sports stadiums. Like I'm sitting on one of those right now, kind of on the toilet. It's not very padded, but but
okay, if listeners, we need to remind you. Jay records this in a bathroom.
Yeah, I'm not like using the toilet, but it's the chair I'm sitting on. Yeah, I got my padding
ever since the accident, he has no large or small intestine, so he has to eat 30,000 calories a day because he only absorbs like a fraction of a percent of that. But so he's always on the toilet.
Yeah, Skibbity Toilet is actually based on me, believe it or not. I've been trying to assume over that, but it's hard.
Yeah, like full meatballs come at the back end of him unchewed. It's frightening.
Yeah, I got to eat the RoboCop baby food.
This guy reminds me of either of there's the Dollop did an episode about the two guys that were originally making truck nuts.
Oh yeah, that
and
is
they got into
story.
Like a pretty fucking brutal war over it. But yeah, it's I hate not to blow smoke up my own ass, whatever, gas my own asket. But it is a different, because it's like I think of an idea, I put it on some stuff, and I hustle it and I sell it, and like that's actually my bread and butter. But for every one of me, there's 1,000 dudes out there that are making like truck nuts or ass gaskets, which are just like, again, it is just like a cushion that you take with you to a sports game that has the word ass gasket written on it as large as possible. You know?
Yeah, like the idea. Also, you're going to be sitting on it, so people won't even see it. It's like a graphic tee that you wear inside out. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's dumb. It's all dumb. And I also just think that, like, far be it from me to say, there's definitely some stuff that, like, if you just had that be the brand name on a little tag on the back, fine. But you're cutting out a lot of your buyer market for people who don't want to walk around with something labeled ass gasket. Yeah, it's a lot.
It is. And just outside of this, he's just a big dumb fame hound, and he wants to be a big shot. So he's just kind of always chasing stuff that will get him in the spotlight. Like he went on Jerry Springer because he's divorced and remarried. And this is about, like, his episode's called Mistress Mayhem. And he's like getting into fights and stuff. Cause he just wants to be on TV. He loves television. Yeah.
I mean, it's being in the center of attention can be fun, and it can also be the scariest fucking part of your life. So I'm kind of ambivalent on it, honestly.
Yeah, everyone wants it, but then once you experience it, when it goes wrong, that's why a lot of people are like, okay, I don't really need this.
Yeah. Once there's a lot of people who get like a modicum of it, and then it like drives them crazy, and it's the only thing they want. I'm not actually that, despite the fact that I, have all the followers and all that shit. So. It is a lot. It's very psychically taxing.
Yeah, and also we described his appearance, but the way that he talks, his voice is like a cartoon hound dog in a straw hat wearing suspenders with one strap undone. He says stuff like, "It's plumb nasty," the buyer Shannon Wisnant said in a recording of the call. "Done gross me out." Like, he talks like a caricature of like a Southern guy. It's so funny.
Yeah, this is a guy that genuinely says, "Yup." Like, this is a guy with a lot of H's, a lot of unnecessary H's in his life. Yeah, we don't need any of that.
Yeah. And so the way that he winds up getting this leg is he tries the storage wars thing where, storage units, if people don't pay their bills, then the owners will auction off the contents in like a blind auction, and people buy them because they like to dig through it and see if they can find valuable stuff to sell. And of course, the problem is the TV show is fake. They seed them with interesting things because it's a TV show, but people watch it are just like, hey, I could get in on that. And the storage unit people love that because that means that instead of having to clean out their units, other people are paying for the privilege of it.
Yeah, I mean, that is very much it, is you're getting an opportunity to do their work for free. The idea that anybody watches that show and thinks that it's like, it's like Deal or No Deal, where it's like the conceit of that show is just going, is there money in this box? No. Is there money in that box? No. All right, cut to commercial. And like, that's the whole idea of the show, but they have musical stings that makes it sound so like dramatic and tense, but it's like, all it is it's just like looking under rocks trying to find bugs, and then somebody finds some bugs, and that's the show. It's like, who gives a fuck? It's not even, you don't even get to see the money getting spent. You just see a big number on the screen. I have a calculator, man. I can see all the big numbers I want.
Yeah, I guess you could say Storage Wars was the original unboxing video if you think about it.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Well, no, the original unboxing video was Pandora, and it fucking sucked. Yeah, this is Pandora, and this is my unboxing video. Yeah.
It sounds like something like a cool history teacher would do to try to make their kids interested in mythology.
Yeah.
And so one of the things of the news is the 911 call of him. So he buys this storage unit. He's going through all this stuff in it. One of them is a barbecue smoker. He opens it up, and there is a mummified human foot inside of the smoker. And so he calls 911, and we have like the call from one of the things. How would you like to be the dispatcher, and I can be Shannon?
Yeah, sure. What's the problem there?
I got a human foot.
Have a what?
A human left foot.
What's your name?
My name's Shannon Wisnat, and it's plumb nasty. Got me grossed out. Sorry, got me grossed me out.
got me gross me out. Yep. I mean, at least he called the cops. That's kind of surprising, because you would think if you call the cops, there's a chance they're gonna take your foot away.
That's true. Yeah. Well, honestly, I'm kind of surprised they didn't. That feels like something they would do, just like asset forfeiture.
Yeah, asset forfeiture. Well, it was a foot, not an ass. All right. Yeah. Unsubscribe. Yeah, I don't blame you. All right. So, but whose foot was it, Jay?
Yeah, thankfully, this wasn't as grisly as it could have been. It belonged to a local man named John Wood. His leg had been amputated. So
Yes.
this wasn't a case of foul play or a crime. This was this was his possession.
And it says John Wood, original foot owner. I don't we don't want to get too deep in the weeds in this, man, but like, do I own my feet? They're just my feet.
Yeah, that means you could issue a takedown to WikiFeet finally. We have confirmation.
You know, like, I don't know, like, why am I doing this? Like, do I own my brain? Well, who's I? I don't know. Do I own my consciousness? Like, this is too much. He kind of looks like if Ozzy Osbourne got really into golf.
Yeah, he wears like a golf visor and he has blonde hair.
Yeah, like he looks like a cleaned up Ozzy.
Yeah, and the reason why his leg was amputated is because he had been in a plane crash with his father was an amateur pilot, and they had been flying a small plane together. And his father had a heart attack while he was flying and died and crashed. And the crash killed his father, but he lost his leg. John lost his leg in the crash.
Yeah, I mean, we all process things differently. If my father died in a plane crash and I also lost my leg, I would be pretty fucked up about it. Would I keep my leg? I don't know. Despite being as like morbid and all that, doing the oddities circuit, I don't actually get that deep into like the bizarre, morbid tchotchkes that a lot of the other people get into. Like, I don't have any like wet specimens or animals in jars or taxidermy. I think it's all kind of gross. Same thing with like true crime. Like, people tell me all these true crime stories and I'm like, I don't know, that just sounds like a story of the worst things possibly happening. I already live a bad life. Like, I'm already miserable. I don't know that I would keep a human foot. You know? I'd be like, it's just a foot. Just take it away from me, man. Yeah, I would rather have my dad.
Yeah, like if it was me, I could see maybe like keeping an individual bone or something. Like that'd be a fun thing. Like, hey, want to see my foot bone and pull it out or something, or like put it on a necklace or something. But yeah, keeping the whole ass foot is definitely interesting. And it's like has like it's his lower leg too. Like it was amputated below the knee, but it is not just a foot at the ankle. It is all the way up the shins.
Yeah. I don't know. And also, like, why would you like keep it is one thing, but what do you do with why put it in a smoker?
Yeah, it's the story of how he made this, he talks about it. He says that after the amputation, he asked for the leg back because he was thinking it would be nice to sort of use it to make like a memorial for his father in the accident that took him. And when he was expecting to just give him like the bones, and they just gave him his whole severed leg. Like they had it wrapped up in a trash bag. He said they handed it to him. And so he did a DIY preservation where he got like a jar of formaldehyde and he was basting it like a turkey in their garage for a while. And then after that, he wrapped it up in door screen and let it dry out for months and months. And when he had to take it out of the house, that's why he put it in the smoker, because that way it's like, well, it's out of the house, it's outside where we'll have some airflow, but for the most part, he doesn't have to worry about it.
Man, at a certain point, you just got to put it in the trash or bury it. I don't know. It's like I don't want any rotten meat on my property.
He's just holding on to it at this point. So then the reason why he loses it is because he got addicted to painkillers from the accident on top of already having existing substance abuse issues. So he just wound up not making payments on the storage unit where he was keeping the leg, and it got auctioned off. And that's kind of why he didn't really find out about it until they made the news.
Imagine how bad these painkillers would have to be for you to forget about your own foot.
Yeah, this is 2004. This is like the height of like the Sacklers destroying the American South.
Yeah, that's some like phenazepam shit, man. Like you're removing a huge part of your life.
Yeah,
gross.
Sucks. Yeah. And so thankfully, John is eventually identified as the owner. But then this is where another problem pops up. Shannon won't give his foot back.
Yeah, I mean, what I've had to learn in my life is that throughout your life, you're going to have these encounters with people who like just cannot be reasoned with. and you can tie yourself in knots over it. And it, like, you can argue with yourself, you can argue with them. You can be in the shower being like, X led to Y led to Z. There's other things that happened, but this is for sure, categorically true how this happened. And you can do that. You can tie yourself in all these knots, and the other person will just be like, no, fuck you. And the thing is like, you got to just relinquish it. Shannon's not going to give that foot back. You could try to get the court involved, or I don't know. Like, it's just like, seems like a long series of weird and bad decisions led to this person keeping their foot and then losing it and then trying to get it back. It's this whole saga that we can just do without. You know what I mean?
Yeah, his argument is, he's like, well, I bought the content of that storage unit at an auction. The leg was in the unit, so it's my property. And you know, he's a big fame hound. He's finally getting like some attention from this leg. He sees this as like his ticket to becoming a big shot. And so he's clinging to it with everything he has.
Yeah. I mean, like, not to draw the same line that we've drawn 1,000 times in this pod, but like, at no point in time did I think that the popularity of the rat hole was because of how cool and funny and pretty I am. Like, I was aware the whole time that people were excited about the rat hole, not about me. Who gives a fuck about me? Right? Like, this guy deluded himself into thinking that any of this was about him. It's not. He's just the guy that owns the talking monkey. People want to know more about this talking monkey. They don't give a fuck about you. You just are a guy that happened to have a strange thing happen to him. Like, how many times, once you've told that story enough, nobody's going to ask you about it. Like, it's like the guy that got struck by lightning 3 times. Okay. It's an interesting story, man. What did it feel like? Okay. Did it affect anything else in your life? No? All right. Well, now you're just a normal guy to me. That was it.
Yeah, like the way that Shannon talks about it, he seems to think that he is just an inherently interesting and cool person and that people just need to become aware of him, and then he's got it made. So he's very much sort of operating from that perspective, like this is going to be his foot in the door, unintended, but, you know. So
I just think more and more, because I'm like doing all this research for the game about like how there's people who end up being like targeted individuals. And there's a lot of people in like the schizophrenia world where they think that they're being targeted by the government, whether or not they identify as a TI is like a kind of a separate thing. But they kind of go one or the other ways where like there's some people that are like, well, they're targeting me. And I don't know why, because I'm nobody. I'm nothing. Like there's nothing interesting about my life. I'm just a totally normal person. And then there's other people like, well, they're targeting me because they don't know that I'm the new Messiah. And like they're targeting me because they are the Antichrist and I am the new Jesus Christ. And so like I just want to stress that you should always presume that you're not actually as interesting as you are. Like you're not a bad person, but you're probably not a celebrity. You're just a guy that bought a foot on accident.
Very much, yeah. Like you've like your joke about people still wanting to be like the fly on Giuliani's head a decade later. This is very much a case of this, as we will see.
Right? Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah, so now we're at the part where we've established the stakes, and yeah, I love this story because it's like our classic guy who's sympathetic versus guy who is deeply unsympathetic character, like all the way back to that very first episode with the Manos, the Hands of Fate. That is like a central, always a good spot, and this is a classic. This is a great one. It's a charismatic addict who has made some mistakes, but you can tell is trying to do better, and a gormless asshole who wants what he thinks is coming to him and will do anything he can to get it. It's two very interesting personalities interacting in a very fun way.
Yeah, it's definitely a clash of sympathies, you know, of one person who's just like, wow, yeah.
Yeah, the early 2000s fashion on display in this it's very Sopranos, like a lot of like polo shirts
Jesus
and sunglasses.
This has nothing to do with Sopranos, man. This is just an ugly man. I'm looking at Shannon Wisnant. Yeah, looking like Sebastian Gorka if he was a Sopranos character is what you've written here. That's really funny. But yeah, he definitely looks like a guy who eats cold chili out of the can. This is a guy that slurps his spaghetti. But yeah, he's just like a big old like thick tanned guy with like racist guy sunglasses and like a big bushy goatee, and you can tell that he just eats ground beef for every meal. and has strong opinions about the guy that was kneeling for the flag, Colin Kilpatrick.
Yeah.
Kaepernick.
He looks like somebody who, like, if you go to your local news comments and like find the guy who's talking about how he wants to murder pedophiles, that's just what his profile photo is like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this guy says that his niece really filled out. You know, like this guy's a fucking he's just. He's fucking gross. He looks like if you just put Pillsbury biscuit rolls, just the tube itself, into the oven, and then it just like burst out and browned, but it's still like creamy white underneath the polo. Yeah, this guy is a pile.
Very much. Yeah.
This guy's kids could be on fire, and I wouldn't have any sympathy for him at all.
The most sympathetic view we will get at Shannon is that he has an axe to grind because John's father was a wealthy executive for a local furniture company and sort of the town big shot. Like, that's why he was a recreational plane owner. Like, you know, you need to have a little extra cash to do that.
Okay. It's just like the thing where people are like mad at the local millionaire. It's like, oh, the millionaires. I hate to say this, but like $1 million is not actually that much. And like, you need to aim higher, big dog, because the guy that owns the local furniture company, it's like, even if he's the local big shot, like the people that own so much land down in Omaha were the Mercers. And yeah, they owned a lot of land and they've got a ton of money and good for them or whatever. But like Berkshire Hathaway and Warren Buffett, he's a local to Omaha. Like, he's right there. The billions are where you should be pointing your anger, not the guy that owns the building in which a bunch of restaurants are in. It's like, that's a lot of money, yes, but it's not nearly the money that's actually causing you to have problems in your life.
And also, like any sympathy that you might have that he might be trying to fish with this, like his big example of injustice is that he wasn't invited to John's birthday party as a kid. Like, that is something he is still mad about as an adult. Like, he's not just still mad about something that happened in school. He's specifically mad about not getting invited to someone's birthday party. Like, he has a whole monologue where he's like, no, but he's like, you ain't nothing if you don't get invited to have a party down at his house. I didn't get invited. He's just like, it hurt him so much.
Man, I think that therapy is a good thing for a lot of people. I think that some people are too smart for therapy because they can just like rearrange their words so that the therapist takes their side no matter how diabolical they are. I also think that there are some people who are probably just not smart enough to identify or to even resolve the feelings that they're expressing in therapy. I don't think that this guy would benefit from therapy at all. I think that he should just be like on a fishing ship. You know?
Yeah, he gets his own lighthouse to keep.
Is there a factory where they just make grunts? You know, can he be somebody who, like, he should just be the guy that, like, tests out paintball equipment, but he's the target. They just put like a bucket on his head and just unload full clips into his belly.
Yeah, when they build a new roller coaster and they're testing it, like after the sandbags, but before the prisoners, that's what he goes on.
After the sandbags, but before the prisoners. Oh, yeah, dude, that's exactly it. Yeah, for sure. They use him to test the hooks for meat lockers. This guy's going to listen to this and be like, what the fuck? If he could figure out how podcasts work.
And just like to show like how much big a deal this is to him, he tries to make his whole identity out of it. He starts calling himself the Foot Man. Like, one of his quotes, he's like, some folks call me Foot for short. And like, he has like in his home, he like made a lamp out of like prosthetic legs he found. He has a custom license plate, FT smoker. Like, he is so... It's like when somebody who's never had friends before gets into MMA and has like a social group for the first time. It just becomes their whole life. Like,
I need to clarify, he did not make a lamp out of foot parts. He had a chandelier and he just put mannequin feet and legs on top of it. So it's just like he's got junk on top of this chandelier that has no lights on it, but there is kind of like a light in the background. So it's just that he's taken some feet and put them up off the ground.
You should have just suspended them individually. You could have had a cute little wind chime or something.
Yeah, just the clonks and bonks of your mannequin feet doing all that.
Also,
Yeah.
considering his rival in this is somebody with a prosthetic leg, that is pretty ominous.
Yeah, and also considering that his rival in this is the son of somebody who owns a furniture company, you'd think you'd at least try to demonstrate that you know a bit about furniture. You're kind of just showing your ass by being like, look at my profound ignorance of how lamps work. Oh, this happened in North Carolina.
North Carolina, it's still the South.
Yep. It's still. I got some people out in North Carolina. But all this tracks. All this makes sense. I'm familiar with the accent.
Yeah, so now we know about the Footman. We know why footsmoker.com is called that. The stakes have been established. In part 2, we're going to watch this conflict play out and be resolved. And sort of, I dug up the aftermath because the documentary was released in 2016. It's been a decade, so there's a couple of updates I can do.
Yeah, well, he finally got the guy's other foot. He came for it. Oh, great. Well, we're gonna finish this story off next time. And we'll get back into it, and we appreciate you for listening. We have, at least I know I do, I have some recs at the end of this episode and the next, but for now, I'm from the internet on Twitter, I'm from the internet at gmail.com for suggestions and all that. You can find me at winslowdomain.com, where you can find the all the things that I make, plus the enemy of the pod bumper sticker, as well as all the other stuff. And Winslow Domain on Twitter, Calculations on Instagram. And if you want to play my new game or see anything else that I make, hop on my Discord. I'll be doing some stuff there. And I appreciate you. Come on out. And Jay, where can they find you?
Yeah, I'm jaybrandstetter everywhere. My link tree is in the show notes.
All right. Sounds good. Well, that's it. And also the Patreon, $1 a month, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, Jay, do you have any recs for us?
Yeah, I have some documentary recommendations since we're talking about one. For the first part, I figured since we've been talking a lot about a guy who's missing a leg, I thought I'd recommend Murder Ball, which is a documentary about a sport for wheelchair-bound people, quadriplegics, paraplegics, and it's interesting. And also it's cool because usually when you see stuff about people in wheelchairs, they're certain types of people, and this is one where they're all kind of jocks, and there's one of the special features on the DVD is the guys from Jackass hanging out with the Murder Ball guys and doing stunts and stuff. It's very interesting to see very bro-y, exuberant people in wheelchairs doing combat sports. Basically, it's really cool.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I've heard that's a good one. Yeah, the all of the stuff that they're able to do with those wheelchairs is just really impressive. This is kind of a repeat rec for us because I know we've mentioned it before, but I've actually gotten a little bit more into it. Is we talked about friend of the pod, the game Charles Barkley Shut Up and Jam Gaiden. Well, the artist for that game has a new game out called Look Outside. It is it's I think under $10 or something on Steam. It's an RPG Maker game, but it's very, very advanced. And the art for it is really cool and interesting. It's got a lot of heart, and I genuinely enjoy it. And I've been playing that a bit lately. It's not perfect. There's definitely a number of times where I've had to Google literally what am I supposed to do in this game. It's pretty opaque. It's pretty fucking difficult too. But yeah, it's a good game. And if you like RPGs, I would say give Look Outside. Give that one a shot because the art's really cool, and I'd recommend it. But that's all for us now, and we'll be back next week with the other foot.
Footsmoker.com!
I'm From the Internet is created by Jay Brandstetter and Winslow Domain. Edited by Steve Brown. Music by Steve Is Broke.